Alright, let's go! Resident Evil Requiem, aka Resident Evil 9. We are into the game about, I don't know, less than 30 minutes in. I'm a very exploratory player. I'm noticing that the stream might be a little too subdued. The outer edges I can see, like this door right over here. When I'm looking here, I can still see it on my screen, but it looks like in the stream it's really dark. Maybe this will be okay because it makes it seem a little darker on stream, but it might just also be my mobile device that looks this way, because I have my mobile device for some chat, and then I have my PC as well for chat, so it's on my left and right. Alright, so we'll just see how it looks. I mean, it is supposed to be a horror game, so maybe now when I walk into here, it's a little bit brighter in here, but when I turn off my light, it's still pretty, I think it's still visually okay. Now I have chosen to have Grace's character here be in first person, but you can choose to, let me see if I can get it in here. If you go into options, go to camera and switch it over to third person, you can play the game in third person. And if that's how you want to play it, that's nice that they've given that option. I like how she goes in tight, and then, you know, when you get close to a wall, her hands don't clip in there, and then when you get right up against the wall, she tucks in the weapon. That's excellent. So many games just let the character clip through. So that's awesome. So you can have the character be this way, but I think, and again, it's recommended from Capcom, the developers, that you play it in first person, because her segments are more horror oriented and a focus on that kind of scary. But I've actually turned on Leon's camera to be first person as well. But I'm going to play my first run through in first person for both, and then my second run through I'll switch over to third person. Third person is kind of what they've done for Resident Evil 2 remake, 3 remake, 4 remake, and then their first person for Resident Evil 7 and Resident Evil 8. And I think most recently they've made a third person mode for 7 and 8. Did they do that? So I'll go back and play all the Resident Evil games. I've been kind of dabbling in the very first one again, because I've gotten into a point where I, as a gamer, have more time to game, and I take a ton of notes. And I can kind of share here if I go over to my database here. I've got, I think this might have been for Marathon. So let me open up my Resident Evil. Yeah, I did not have a good time with Marathon just because it's more PvP focused. It's not a PvE. I mean, it has some PvE, but the focus isn't PvE. Alright, so let me close this one. I've done a bunch of these for a lot of my games now. I take a ton of data. It just helps me kind of immerse myself a little bit more. But this is kind of the data that I'm working on. I'm going to close this other window from Marathon. That should focus just the Resident Evil one. It should. No guarantee that it will. Alright, so this is where I'm at with Resident Evil. I have these tabs down at the bottom. I don't know if my cursor shows up on stream. It should. But I have a timeline that I'm currently working on, and I'll do that for all the games to see where like certain data falls in. It helps me be more of an archivist and do the research on my own versus sitting and just watching, which is still fun, sitting and watching other people show you the lore and the narrative in like 5-minute videos on YouTube. But this is all Resident Evil 1, but I'll bring in items from all the games. This is what I currently have in a storage, where this one is I'm writing down a list of all the things that I come across. This one I'm having fun with. I'm generating through Excel the Resident Evil mansion map, and this is for the first Resident Evil. This is the I think this is the first floor, and then this is the upper floor. But I have fun just putting this stuff together, and it's not to scale, but it shows where the rooms and the doors and everything are at. And I'm kind of just messing around, and it's fun to make this stuff for me, and it lets me spend time in games. I think too much today. We have so many mediums of entertainment vying and competing for our time. I've got a lot more time on my hands now to do this kind of stuff, so I've been spending a lot of time just playing around with spending time and taking my time in games. And this is one of the ways that kind of forces me to do that, is just to take a lot of data. So I give feedback as well, things that I feel like are good, poor, very good. If I have recommendations, I put a exclamation point. That's the ones in blue. And then the ones that are in yellow are just things that I might want to ask a little bit more on. I have a ton of this for Cyberpunk 2077, but almost every game I play now, I do this. It helps me slow down and enjoy the game and explore the game more. Versus just let me go to the next point, let me shoot this, let me get through, let me complete the mission. But it also helps me for the narrative for games, especially like Resident Evil, Cyberpunk, The Witcher, like all these monsters, all these people, places, and things. The proper noun. Hey, what's up, Muffin? Thank you so much for coming back. All the things that are in the lore, it helps me reference all that stuff. Imagine going through a game that has 9 games in it. It's like, where does this character come in? Was that character in the first 3 games? Was that in the 5th game? Was that in the spin-off game? And for me, this will just say, all right, I just met this character. Let me type it in here. And let's say that if I go over here to the pelt, I know I'm geeking out here, but let's say this Kyle Ames right here in this line. It's the first time I think I've heard of this Kyle Ames. But let's say my database gets into the thousands, and I go in here and I type Kyle Ames, whatever it was, and then I alphabetize it, and then I go up to find whether or not Kyle Ames has ever been in the Resident Evil, and it's like, oh, I found him in Resident Evil 9 as a special FBI agent. Maybe he showed up in the other 8 games. Who knows? But this is why I do it. And I know that's not entertaining for most people. Yes, it is me geeking out. It can be cool, but I don't know if it's really for everyone. So I'll try not to have this hovering all the time, and I'll try to get back to the game. But that's just me, yeah, being nerdy and geeking out. And only because I have the time to do so. Not everybody even has the time to do that stuff. I wonder if there's something in here. I love it when a game does this. If I try to push up against a surface, instead of the character clipping through, this really grounds the character in this world. Tasty. I could see them making this game in VR, PlayStation VR 2, because it has a first-person element to it, and because Resident Evil 7, Resident Evil 8, and Resident Evil 4 are all in VR. I don't see why they couldn't make this one in VR. They haven't launched it with VR, but that doesn't mean they aren't working on it. I think enough people have enjoyed the Resident Evil games in VR. I'd love to see them do all the games. Resident Evil 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Alright, it's got some scratches on that. I do like this map system right here. It's nice and smooth. Okay, we have footprints in the floor. Her, like, panicked breathing is kind of freaky. She's definitely the scared one. She's not a Chris Redfield. She's not a Claire Redfield. I swear I've come through these areas before. So I can't go back through here. That's this spot. I can't get through here. I think I've checked all of that. Did I not explore the kitchen enough? An incredibly reliable. So all this stuff that's even here, I'll write all of this down. I'll write down Mr. Raccoon Charm. I'll write down Old Key. I'll write down an S&S M232. I'll write down a photo of Grace. And I love that you can examine objects in games as well. Let's talk. Room 204. So maybe I'll find a room 204. I don't know. I'm really loving that they've gone back to a horror. I feel like Resident Evil 7 kind of went back into the horror roots. All the other games just kind of faded away from it. Ooh, look at that. So, excuse me. So, in Cyberpunk 2077, when you're saving Sandra Dorset at the very beginning of the game, she was captured by scavengers and then thrown into a bathtub, and that was like the first mission with Jackie Wells. You go into this like dilapidated apartment room and you fight these scavengers. You find Sandra Dorset like naked inside of a tub. You pull her out. You find out she's been hacked and her trauma team membership, platinum membership, has been subdued by this like virus that she's got in her. So you pull that virus out and then you carry her out onto the balcony where trauma team comes in and picks her up. Now the ship that brings in trauma team gets very close to the balcony so that the team can land and then exfiltrate or exit the ship and then come over to you and pick up Sandra Dorset, which you've carried from the bathtub. And then there's this drape of fabric that in the trailer the ship came over and did this, what this game is doing right now with this these drapes kind of blowing in the wind. But in the final game, the drape that was on the balcony in Cyberpunk 2077 didn't get affected by the downwash of the air vehicle. And it really just makes something with Resident Evil and drapes. I feel like Resident Evil 1 had like the dog jump through the drape. I feel like there's a dog gonna come through here. But look at that drape. That looks... What if I stand here? The wind suddenly stops when I stand here. I think that's to keep it from clipping through the character. But again, I'm not... The character doesn't clip through. Let's see if it'll blow. The wind starts blowing again when I step away. And then quickly let's... Oh, look. Uh-oh. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen. Okay, we're finding a little bit of a... So I run through this and the wind dies down. So this is probably to prevent it from clipping into the character. That's a sentient drape, everyone. Okay, for visual effect and tension, to me I think there's a dog. Like, look how big the wind is. And then when I run up to it to try to bounce into the drape, that's weird. It's cool looking effect, it's just weird why it retreats from the player. I mean, that's for obvious reasons, I guess, so they don't want to make it a dynamic physics. It's an animated thing. This is animated instead of actual physics. Weird. Very weird. It's the first time I think I've seen that. I wonder if I have to like keep away from like that glass. Like something will be chasing me. Hotel pamphlet. The Wrenwood Hotel has been welcoming guests from all walks of life since opening its doors in 1928. Experience the warm embrace of nearly a century's worth of history, along with Wrenwood's time-honored traditions. Red files can be viewed again. I know that I've seen the trailers have spoiled that we return to Raccoon City Police Department, I think, as we play as Leon. But it would have been nice not to spoil that. What would be really cool is if we returned to the original mansion. Now, I'd like to see a full game remake of Resident Evil, the original, like this. First person, third person. Because right now the only Resident Evil remakes that we have is still the locked camera. They've done a Resident Evil remake with better visuals, but it's still a locked camera. I'd like to see them redo the original Resident Evil this way. They've redone every other game. Maybe they've just lost the rights or something to do the first Resident Evil? I don't know. Cockroach. Come here, cockroach. To all employees, following the recent incident, management has been working hard to restore public trust. Unfortunately, due to the extent of the damage, it is unclear if it will be possible to reopen. Consequently, it is with great regret that we must announce the official closure of the Wrenwood Hotel. We apologize greatly for the impact this may have on you and your families, and wish to extend our heartfelt gratitude for the support and hard work you have brought to the long-standing business. Shutting down. Now, from what I know, this hotel was where Grace's mother died. That's the opening of this game, which obviously I've already done when I started the stream. I did that a little bit last night. Is you being introduced to Grace, her being told by I don't know if she's an FBI agent. I don't think she's a field agent. She's more of a desk person. But she's preparing a report I guess the supervisor comes and tell her she has to go back to this hotel, but this is where her mother was killed. Um, and again, her character, again, I don't know a lot about these extra characters. Like I know Leon, I know Chris, I know Ada, um, I know these primary games or game characters. Like I know Barry Burton, I know Wesker. Um, like I even know Alice. I liked the Mia Jovovich movies. I always thought that like the Mia Jovovich Alice character would be at some point put into a Resident Evil game. But I went to a convention when I think Resident Evil. Oh, which one? Maybe like Resident Evil 6 or maybe Resident Evil 5. I don't know. Um, and I asked the creator, like, with Resident Evil movies, I guess doing really well box office wise, like they made good money. When those movies came out, I asked like the dev team at this panel, it's like, do you ever feel like the Alice character, Mia Jovovich's character in the Resident Evil movies, um, directed by Anderson, like would you bring that character in the games? And the entire room, I'd say the majority of the room, like looked at me like I was an alien that had landed on their planet and I needed to be destroyed. I was like, oh gosh, I didn't know. So like all the characters within the movies, I do try to separate from the games, even though I really do like Mia Jovovich's movies in the Resident Evil games in that universe. There's a lot of characters I just don't know. And that's sort of that database that I talked about. I'm trying to put together to know more. To know more. It keeps telling me to open up the map, which I've already done. I've opened up the map. And that now it's telling me to open the map. I've already done that. Open the map. I did that. I back out. Okay. What I would like to also see is some randomness. So let's say that only one of this right side opens, but maybe the next playthrough, the left side opens and there's something in it next time. I think they did that for the original Resident Evil game, to where you could play not a standard but an advanced version, and it would reorganize where all the keys were, where all the items were at, where you needed to pick it up. I don't know if it randomized it or it just gave you a different one. I don't know how the game would work if it was randomized. Maybe it does, I don't know. But a separate playthrough which put things in different locations to where you'd have to go and find them in a different way versus knowing what to do every time. What's the field agent? Is it Hannigan? One of the characters in Leon's games, because he's part of the. It's not Stars. He's not in Stars anymore. He's some other special agency. There's a Hannigan, I think is her name, that is always like talking to him. I like games that have sort of constant companions. Cortana for Master Chief. I like that. Doesn't even say what it is. It looks like it could be wire, and I guarantee you the thinness of that wire is not holding this door together. Like, you could easily bend that with your hands. Now, I imagine that if this was Chris or Leon would grab onto the handles and just pull, and I guarantee you that would spiral out and it would not hold on. Maybe. It seems like a very weak, like, block for a game. But, I mean, that's Resident Evil for you. Just go find a special key. Go explore a little bit. Come back when you have bolt cutters or wire cutters. But you could easily probably take what's inside here. Okay, I probably shut my mouth on that one. It's like, well, look at all the tools inside of this toolbox. You should be able to, and sure enough, you can use. But I mean, you could take this pool cue right here, this billiards cue. There's been a couple of these jump scares. You could take that pull cue, bring it over here, push that pull cue into here, and just leverage back, and it would break that wire. Like true physics in games. Alright, let's go over here. I like the opening of doors. I don't know if I can always close them, but just pushing into the door naturally versus having to go up to the door and push a button. This game seems to be doing that a lot more. .204 was the room. I hear a radio, maybe. Oh, this is 204. I think... Okay, so I feel the typical for... Oh, sorry, guys. I really apologize for that. The game audio was super loud. Sorry about that. You guys probably couldn't hear anything that I was saying because I had the volume way, way up. I feel like this is going to be a trigger right here. And I feel like most games that are modern games these days don't handle... Oh. Okay. This is all pictures of Grace?
What? Who?
Okay, this is her mother right here in the red jacket. This game looks good on PlayStation 5, like a PlayStation 5 Pro. I mean, I'll just wait for the PlayStation 6. I don't think the PlayStation 5 Pro really gives much in the way of improvements. At least enough to warrant a $700 purchase.
You have been on that thing all day.
Well, if you're gonna work so late.
Get some sleep, eh?
I'm almost done, just a sec.
What am I gonna do with you?
What you always do? Nag at me until I go to bed?
Yep.
Wow, it's really coming down hard.
Mom, phone.
It's right beside you.
Yeah. You little shit.
Hello?
Miss Ashcroft?
Yes.
Okay, we know that you're home, and bomb it. You gonna shoot through the window?
Dunno. They asked for Miss Ashcroft and then they hung up on me. Rude.
Yep.
What the?
Shoot through the window. Sniper.
Grace, we need to go.
Go where?
Rookie mistake.
Mom, what's going on?
Hurry!
Wait, who's coming? What's wrong?
We need to keep our voices down.
This is ridiculous.
Come on.
We get to play through this action sequence.
Tell me what's going on.
Now is not the time.
Oh, that was a smooth transition.
Stay close.
Mom, wait.
Ooh, I love it when they let us play through this section.
I'm coming.
Grace, hurry.
Great animations.
Hello? Who's that? Oh, I'm so sorry about the power outage.
What happened?
Oh, it's probably the electrical panel. It's 40 years old, so it doesn't take much to trip it. It's really no excuse, and I apologize for the inconvenience.
Oh, no, it's fine.
Yeah, don't worry.
I should have it fixed soon. I just need to find my...
What the hell,
No, 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 Grace. No. Grace, stay close to me.
Are you gonna tell me what's going on? Mom, what are you doing?
Something important.
Watch that photo. Look at that photo. Where's that photo? Behind a frame.
What did you hide behind that painting?
I'll explain later.
Behind the frame. Where's this at? Where's this
We
at?
need to find another way out.
It was behind the reception, right across from the reception. Okay, so when I go back into time, down the stairs, into that photo. Okay, maybe it'll still be there.
Come on, Grace.
That was a tell.
Come on, hurry. Come
It's
on.
got excellent smooth transitions into gameplay and cutscene. All in game.
Yes, I want to report a murder. No murders.
Grace.
Yes. The Redwood Hotel. Yes. Hurry, please. The police are on their way. Oh my god. Mom, I feel like I'm gonna throw up.
Grace. Grace, look at me. Grab my hands. Okay, look at me. Look at me. In and out. Breathe in and out. Oh, Grace. I promise you I will explain this all to you one of these days. Grace. Please know that you are my hope. Never forget that.
What are you talking
Hey, Eldon, my friend, how are you? I'm real good. You know me.
I love you too.
I could tell you all the things that you already know. I'm just doing the things I've been doing over the last
We
year.
need to find a way out of here now.
But we don't have any of our stuff.
We
Mom.
can come back for it later, Grace.
New games. Been playing some marathon and oh, right through her neck. Oh, oh. Wow, that's Resident Evil back in form. Now I can understand her, like, massive trauma. Hey, Eldon, I know that you kind of told me about a specific event that was coming up in life. Has that occurred yet? Without me saying too much.
So sorry.
Yeah, there's like the I. It's in the title of my stream. Like the goat of survival horror is back. Like this is how I wish every Resident Evil game was more horror focused. I mean, they've definitely given different versions of the IP of being action oriented. Like they kind of change with the times and they ebb and flow with the times, I think, as they should, so they don't stagnate. Okay, September, gotcha. You probably have told me that before, but okay, cool.
Hello. Who is this?
You look at, like you said, the good voice acting. The advancement and evolution of the voice acting, if you went back to Resident Evil 1 and you listened to those voice lines, obviously it was a different time of the franchise, but oh my gosh, is that a zombie? That would be the extent of their voice acting. And I think the Resident Evil series has always had this very eclectic or sometimes disjointed, because there's so much in the lore and the narrative. Like, how do you keep up with all of it? I think they've done it.
Important. I'll explain later.
Okay, so we know where she put the package, behind the photo down in reception. Okay, they're reminding the player multiple times, like behind the painting. Now, I never checked the painting before coming here, so it probably wasn't even available. Alright, so it's this was marked on October 19th. It was circled, but I think we're currently in 2026 in the game world. Resident Evil 1 is peak voice acting. Just remember the legendary Jill sandwich line. Yeah, I'm actually replaying Resident Evil. Actually, I could probably bring it up while I'm on stream. Give me a second here. Actually, I think it will end this game. I don't think I can play two games at the same time like I can on the Xbox. But I've been playing the Resident Evil Director's Cut, and the way that you can save the game is pretty much any time, and you can rewind the game. So I'm kind of playing a very casual run through the Director's Cut, but you can rewind. And that's really good for me because I'm just collecting the lore. Okay, so we need to go back down and find the painting. Okay, so we've got planar reflection here. It's not, well, no, screen space. Screen space reflection, I guess. Yeah. Yeah, because it disappears when I look down. Don't know what's blocking the door. It looks like nothing is blocking the door, but there could be something behind it. Yeah, we don't care about who's walking around. That don't scare me. Okay, let's go back downstairs. Yeah, I think I've got the game setting to where I only save with a typewriter. Okay, so that painting is right here. Now I wonder if I could have come over here before that cutscene and done this. There it is. I like this, feels more original Resident Evil to me, the way that you interact with objects. Um, I've said this a bunch of times. I like when you can examine an item. But where you had to, I think Resident Evil kind of got away from moving the object around to find where you needed to interact with it. So instead of me just interacting with it, probably have to turn it to then open it. I love this stuff. I really love this stuff. All right, October 17th, 2018. I probably X and it reads it out for me in better text, but the text written is not so bad. Ah, oh, darn it. Did I just skip past that? Oh, something else in there. Okay, I skipped past. I didn't read it. Well, I have been caught in the tight grip of one of my oldest gaming love again, and
Officer.
I also play through all the Nintendo exclusives I missed on Switch right now.
Something stung.
Are you okay?
Are you're not?
What do I do?
Brains. The zombies are back.
Wait! What are you doing? Stop shooting!
Man, she is not having a good day. Oh, so she, instead of going for the weapon, it's not Zelda, is it, for the Nintendo games? Because I get Mario. It's probably not Metroid. I think we talked about Metroid. Zelda, maybe? Yeah, grab those emergency exit keys. Those are important. Instead of the gun.
Get away! Get away from me! Oh, shit! Stay away!
Look at that. This is very, very graphic. Well, I have been... Okay, I already read that. Yeah, I'm curious which game series... Oh, she was just bit.
What the hell? What the hell? What the hell? What the hell?
Okay, I'm gonna pause right there because you ever see where people pick up shards of glass and use it as a weapon? That would severely damage the person's hand using shards of glass as weapons. Unless you're wearing a glove. So is she dead? Is she immune? I forget the Ashcrofts. Like, Ashcroft is not... This is not a new name. I forget where Ashcrofts come in to the Resident Evil timeline. I thought the Ashcrofts were the mansion owners, but I think that's wrong. Is that where they were? It's Code Veronica? See, this is what me creating this database is all about. Like, if I can get this database to really start to fill out, then that might be where I find out more information. Kind of get back into knowing where all these characters fit into the overall storyline. I will say this, I'm very early into the game, but I feel like the game so far is a ton of I don't want to say it's not really QTE, but it's more cutscene heavy.
Here we finally are.
Who are you?
I'm the one who planted that body. I'm the one that brought you here. I know now that you're the one that I've been searching for. The special one. The chosen one. Miss Ashcroft.
You have to have an extremely powerful grip to make somebody pass out just from the grip of your hand. Well, maybe not. I don't know. Yeah, I still haven't to this day finished Breath of the Wild. I've probably finished most Mario games, though. Elbridge, a few minutes earlier. Who's Elbridge? Are we going to play as a police officer?
Talk to me. Is this one like the others?
Well, same black watches.
Oh, this is Leon.
And it's not post-mortem lividity.
No.
Okay, so a quick, immediate reaction. I feel that Resident Evil 6... maybe it's Resident Evil 7. No, it's Resident Evil 6. Resident Evil 6 had such a split of who you were playing as, and it kind of jumped quickly between different timelines with different characters, and it was like a reunion. And that reunion kind of made it hard to follow where the story was going. I'm not a huge fan of leaping back and forth. It would be nice to play all of Grace's section and then go back and play from the perspective of Leon versus jumping around all the time. I'm not a fan of that style, but I mean, I'll obviously play it. I liked Resident Evil 6, even though we were jumping around, controlling different characters. The story just kind of, you were trying to follow, where am I at now? But I prefer what Resident Evil 2 did, where you played an entire game as Leon or Claire, and then if you wanted to play again, you would play from the perspective of the other character, and maybe they would cross over in some sections. But you weren't taking control of a different character. You would just meet up maybe with that character and have a quick interaction and see where those two paths crossed.
No, this is different. It's 6 now. 6 survivors of Raccoon City, all dead from the same thing.
Yeah, that's not good.
No.
Yeah, this must be Hunnigan. He's driving a Porsche? Of course, he is BSA. I think it's BSA that he's still a part of.
The team has settled on a person of interest. Someone with ties to Umbrella. Victor Gideon.
Who is he?
A former T-virus researcher. Hey, I just got a report of a missing police officer. It might be unrelated, but he disappeared near where the fifth body was found. You there, Leon?
Man, he's getting on in age.
I'm here.
You okay?
Some of the address. Check it out.
Yeah, for RE6, I call Resident Evil 6 Call of Evil or Resident Duty. Because the Call of Duty series was all about action and spectacle, and I felt like that's where a lot of games were going, because they felt that's what mattered for getting a story across. Bombastic blockbuster film style of storytelling versus the horror element.
Stuck in traffic.
I also enjoyed, segments of that game, but I think the community of die-hard, like, Resident Evil must be this way, I think felt the Resident Evil 6 story was disjointed and hard to follow. But I mean, everybody's going to have their own likes and dislikes, and you'll never satisfy everyone.
Is she okay?
Oh, she's fine. I'm just taking her home.
See, is he spreading the virus as he goes?
Leon, what's your sit rep?
Walking around shooting the T-virus. It is really solid action game.
Never.
Yeah, I agree with that. Okay. So if I shoot, will they get scared and run? Okay, yes. Good. Good. I've been playing a lot of Starfield, and you can shoot in public, and they will do nothing.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Hey, what the hell, lady?
Help me!
You okay? What are you doing?
Is this the T or the G? Okay, is she gonna get back up? I need to. Where's my knife at? Ooh, a hatchet? Can I chop her up? Okay. Okay, it doesn't look like I'm gonna dismember, but if you ever get angry at an AI enemy and you want to just hit them while they're down, at least it lets you do that. He's got to turn into a zombie now, right? Dang, it took off the front part of his face.
Get Brentwood locked down. Yeah. He's the one to thank for all the excitement.
Yep, Leon's very action-oriented side of the game. Close combat is R2, powerful attack is L, and then R2. Always go in the direction of danger. I feel like I'm gonna inadvertently shoot a civilian. Oh, I'm out of ammo. And I'm not sure about the health situation. Oh wait, they mark green herbs on the map. Oh crap. Reload. Okay, I might just want to run. Running is not... Running's not a bad thing, right?
Fuck. Let's make this quick.
Equip Requiem. Oh, Requiem is the name of the gun? It's like Code Veronica. Like, there's very important information in the title. Beyond's dead. I like the different, like, death animations that Tomb Raider, like the Tomb Raider games, the new trilogy, like the different ways and like things that you would try to avoid. It was always pretty cool to see the different death animations. I hope that it already appears that this particular zombie is the one that killed me, so that's the one that gets the kill animation. I think that's pretty cool. Pretty cool. Little bit of tutorial stuff here that I could just cycle through endlessly. Is it always the same thing? Okay. Alright, continue. What is continue versus... Okay, so it resets. It's very fast reload. I'm curious how much of the area I can explore. Okay, people are running from there. What happens if I go this way? I'm not necessarily in the business of saving everyone, but let's explore here a little bit.
Can't let him get away.
Okay, so invisible wall here. You know, a nice open world like Resident Evil game would be a cool thing to see, where you're going through the entire city. I don't think I really need to be fighting everything. Maybe I just push through versus trying to fight everything. Really? How are they grabbing on them? Just keep running in a straight line. So, couple of things when it comes to games that ask you to fight, but you can skip all of it just by running. You can take it one of two ways. That's good because you have an option, but that could also be a detriment to what the game is, and that's sort of an action survival. If all you have to do is just run away and hit a trigger box versus actually surviving, the game becomes not bad, it just, the gameplay is removed from the player and it just sort of becomes a interaction with what's going on versus playing the game. So far I feel like I'm doing more of a interactive movie versus a game. But again, I'm in the very early hours of this, so it might open up and have more exploratory discovery, sort of what the original Resident Evil games did, where you were trying to explore to find the thing you needed to then... This feels very much like Resident Evil 6, though.
Back to square one.
Not necessarily. Victor purchased a building after Umbrella went under. The Rhodes Hill Chronic Care Center. I'll send you the address.
Yeah, I think there's a much... Oh, is he infected?
We're running out of time.
Is this where Leon dies? Is Leon finally going to die? Is there going to be a major character death? like Ada probably has to show up, right? Ada has to be in this game. I don't know if she was ever revealed in any of the trailers, but where Leon is, Ada usually follows. I think this is the opening of one of the first trailers we saw. Oh, she's vertical. Or inverted vertical. In vertical. What? Nah, I don't think Capcom will kill off Leon. He is probably the most beloved character of the franchise. But I think games need more of the loss of something you think you should be connected to. And killing him off and bringing him back is always a possibility. Every character you think you kill can always be resurrected, or maybe the Leon that we're seeing that's infected is not the real Leon. He's just a copy of Leon, and they've perfected a virus that lets you create and, clones. Like, they could narratively weave however they want to, but it's sort of as if you played The Last of Us, and if you haven't played The Last of Us, this is going to be a huge spoiler. So, warning to those who have not played The Last of Us series. I'm going to spoil something pretty big here in 3 seconds. 2, 1. Now's your time to mute. When you see the game starting to play, that will mean I've stopped talking about it. But in The Last of Us 2, Joel, the main character from the first Last of Us game, is killed. I won't play it, okay? The main character from the first game that everybody fell in love with, great character, was killed immediately in the beginning of the second game. And you ended up playing as the girl, I've forgotten her name, but you end up playing as the girl that Joel saved from a virus. Well, she kind of had immunity, and his job was to bring her to a location so that scientists could find out why she was immune to this virus that was going around, this plague virus. And the beginning of the second game, Joel is brutally murdered. So now he's dead, and that was a main character. And it's sort of like Metal Gear Solid 2, where everybody felt that the trailers that Hideo Kojima put together showed us playing as Solid Snake, but when we actually got the game, we found out that we played as Raiden. And to get rid of and to close the loop on like major characters is sort of like, oh my gosh, I miss Leon. I'm going to go play all his other games because I miss Leon. Maybe that's one way of doing it. Will they kill off a major character? That's like saying Jill Valentine. Like, Jill Valentine is kind of a main character too, but like, to lose those characters to pave the way, like, could Grace pave the way for new games? Like, she could become a substantial character, like passing the baton. I think passing the baton is really, really good. They're obviously aging Leon. And they could always make new games as prequels, or let's see what happened 3 years before the events of Resident Evil 9 and just get a spin-off game. They could always bring him back in other games, but to kind of continue the story. In the most recent, I know I'm rambling here, but in the most recent Death Stranding 2 game, you play as Sam, And at the end of that game, there's a character shift. I'm not saying death happens to any character or anything like that, but you get revealed to a character that could take over the mantle or progress the character that you play as into the next game. So I think ending a character that we all love and are connected to, especially with a game like the Resident Evil series, there's so many other characters and so many other avenues to go down to like chase narrative threads and make games. And they could 100% they could kill Leon. And I think it would have an impact if they do it right. They don't do it like they did for Han Solo or they did for Luke Skywalker in the biggest like sci-fi franchise, Star Wars, and they kill like Luke with a puff of smoke almost, and then a quick like kill for Han Solo. Like they just went out in the worst way, but they obviously were trying to kill off these characters because the actors were just getting way on in age. And obviously for a video game that's different. Characters do not have to ever age. But narratively in the timeline, like they can't live forever. Unless maybe they just give him a death and then they resurrect him because they inject him with some other kind of virus that I don't know, I'm rambling. But yeah, kill off Leon. I could see that. Bring back Chris Redfield or Jill Valentine. Give them a game again. Heck, Rebecca Chambers. I actually don't know what's happened to Rebecca or Barry Burton. And I think Rebecca Chambers is Barry Burton's... No, not Barry Burton's daughter. Barry Burton's daughter was in another Resident Evil game spin-off. I think it was Resident Evil 2 Revelations. See, I should be able to play this section of me rocking back and forth. Are we in a mansion? Are we still in the hotel? Nice transitions. I do really like the transitions. I need to find a save point, and then we're gonna end the stream here, and we'll return this to another day. Vegan blood extraction, checked pulse, no abnormalities, administered Dexafil, condition stable, ready for further examination. Hum 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 hum. Looks like it measures vital signs.
Where the hell am I?
I'm surprised she doesn't say this stuff like, that's a lot of blood. It's just a text, an inner thought, I guess. A way to look into the mirror would be nice. You know, we are in 2026. What is it with mirrors not reflecting characters? Like, it can't be that hard to do. Like, even Cyberpunk 2077, like, you have to click on the mirror and then it cuts into like a reflection. I mean, you're turning on your mirror, I guess, in Cyberpunk, which I don't understand why we aren't reflecting everything. You know, it's taxing in some way if like everything had like a full reflection, but for mirrors like this, it just feels like I feel like I'm always a vampire in video games. An Albert Wesker game where you wipe out Umbrella Labs with failed experiments, kind of like Operation Raccoon City, but cooler because you are Wesker. Yeah, let's play as the bad guys. I'm surprised. I looked at a game called Resident Evil Reverse, and I guess it was sort of a multiplayer game, but it's canceled. Like, the servers, I guess, are down for that. You can't even mess around with it. Like, I guess some franchises, even as big as they are, just can't maintain. like player base enough. I didn't even know they made a multiplayer game in the Resident Evil series. But it looked very modern, but it's just not available anymore. Been looking at all these Resident Evil games that I own that just kind of been sitting in my library. Reverse was really bad. I played it. I mean, what was it? Was it a multiplayer game? I tried booting it up, and I don't remember ever playing it. I kind of felt like it was I thought it was an add-on to another game, like Resident Evil 3, and then the Reverse was a mode, like Mercenaries was in the other Resident Evil games. Does the light have to be off in order to do something? I feel like I'm in a puzzle. Oh. So this is one thing I'm going to have to get my head used to doing is I'm used to walking up to a door and pushing a button to open a door. But this game is more like, well, how do you normally open a door? You just walk into it and open it. But I'm used to opening doors and closing doors by clicking on them. But this is much more of a push yourself into the door. The atmosphere is very good. I don't feel like I'm... One thing I miss about the original Resident Evil games, and I miss it as in I wish they would have carried it on more and even more and really doubled down, tripled down, quadrupled down on this, is walking up to an object and reading it. Now, it looks like I can see some of this. I mean, there might be names that I even recognize here. So I can kind of get an idea of what this is, just me as a player. But clicking on this would be nice, and then just giving a little bit of tidbit about something like this. This seems worthy of a quick flavor text. Like, oh, it looks like a list of names of residents, or so Treasures of Rhodes Hill Chronic Care Center. Treasures, like it looks like a list of people that passed. So they lived from 1836 to 1837. But it looks like a progressive 1840 to 1841. Looks like are these people that have died? Have these been the people that have led this particular facility? But when you click on it, like if I walked over here and I looked at this, I guess maybe I could get it on my own. Maybe that's why the transition is... It's not as frequent as you saw in the other games by walking up to an image. And since it was kind of hard to see what it is, walking up to it and clicking on it told the player what it is. But now I can walk up to it in first person and read it and probably discern what it is. But for the main character to have some response to it would be nice. And I guess it's kind of still present. I think it might just be a natural evolution of like the fidelity of the graphics, being able to visually represent things a little more clearly to the player, and the player kind of just doing their own exploration thing. It was a weird multiplayer free-for-all game. I feel like there was also a Resident Evil game that allowed one player to play as sort of the overlord or the game master, where you could populate zombies and different challenges or enemies in the play space, and then the other players would try to survive against it. I wish those games weren't like multiplayer, because as soon as the server dies and nobody plays it anymore, you can't play it. So I prefer a game that has a like the Mercenaries mode in Resident Evil. I like those a heck of a lot more because you can play them anytime. The lighting is great. So they've really... Now, I'm pretty sure that the light in this room or that's coming from the outside would illuminate enough of this room. Now I know it's not ray tracing or path tracing. I think eventually in real life, some games have done this. I don't know how many games do it now, but some games have done it to where the character's pupils will just dilate to let more light in, and eventually it would brighten up the room naturally, but this is literally pitch black. I have not seen a single save point, guys. I don't know if the game is auto-saving or not. I thought when I originally set the game up, it said that she can only save with ink ribbons. But I haven't even seen that.
Dad.
So I need to find a fuse. Ooh, cherub key. I like how you can turn off some of the lights. Wouldn't it be cool if I could stick the cherub key in here and that would just sort of be a one-time fuse? Get the fuse. Seems very basic. I feel like this. You've seen some of the other Resident Evil games to where these become like death barriers. It starts to slide forward and attack the player. Oh, save point? Oh, I need an ink ribbon? Oh, there's one. Okay, there we are. Okay, guys. Finally found an ink ribbon. Should be able to save. They are scarce, but I am going to save it here, guys. There we go. All right, I think that'll do it for today. Thank you all for hanging out. Eldon, good to see you, my friend. Muffin, thank you for stopping by as well. I appreciate you hanging out in the first stream with Marathon. Yeah, it's I'd give it a pretty standard like feel. It's got its Resident Evil like trademarks. It's definitely got its own feel, which is good because I think Resident Evil does a really good job of reinventing itself and trying new things. I'd love to see this game make its way to PlayStation VR 2. And again, anytime I play a Resident Evil game, it makes me want to go back and play the other Resident Evil games. The Resident Evil 1 version on Nintendo DS had that feature where you opened up a door and zombies would come through. Yeah, I think that a couple of them, like they would chase you through doors as well. I think that's a huge evolution of the Resident Evil franchises when zombies could make their way through doors versus you just finding and running towards the door, and as long as you made it to the door and triggered the load into the next area, you were safe. Maybe. Depends on if you knew where you came from or you were going into a new space in the mansion or wherever you were playing. Yeah, but I am replaying. Now that I've saved, I want to kind of show where I'm at with Resident Evil 1. I'm going to quit here. It has been saved finally. Here in Resident Evil 1 Director's Cut. So I've been playing this game and just starting to take down a ton of notes. And this is the OG Resident Evil. It's the Director's Cut, so it has. I'm playing on a advanced version of it to where the layout and the way that you approach finding everything is different than the standard way of playing it. So like when you enter the mansion, you can actually exit or go through a door that's normally locked. So here you press the start button, and then you can load a slot and you can save at any time. And again, OG Resident Evil. I've got it on widescreen, but at any time you can come in here and rewind a number of spaces. It makes these, I don't know if it's like a 5 to 10 second little save point, and it'll come up with like, I feel like there's 20 of them that it'll eventually save as I play. But let's say that I ran into a space. I don't know if I can, let me see if I can even do this. Like, give an example. I feel like if I could run into some dogs and have them kill me, which I don't think I'm going to find any here. I do need to get to a storage area to drop off some stuff because my inventory's full. I could go maybe upstairs. But even to this day, this game is still fun to play. I mean, it obviously shows its age in some areas, but every game does. But I still find this to be quite entertaining. Okay, so if I think it was, I forget which door it was that I went through, that there was a bunch of dogs chasing me. But I'm going to try to go there and kind of show you what I've been doing with this game. It's very, very dark. I know. I forget which one of these doors. Yeah, it's very, very timeless, and I'm wondering, like, if they even tried to go about making a remake of this game. It would be cool to, like, maybe a certain anniversary of the series, they decide to finally do it. And it would be cool if they made a mode that you could, when you walk through doors, it has sort of the classic animation. It could just be something that you toggle on or off. Like, I would like it to have the door animations. Or you could even have a locked camera mode. Like, imagine if they just threw all of that into a Resident Evil 1 remake. Like, you want to play, like, it would have these modern animations. Okay, I'm going to let this guy grab onto me. Now, I could do that. It's like, oh, crap, I didn't see that. Now, you could OG it and, like, oh, I got killed. Or you could go back a couple of steps, and it's instant. It's like, okay, now let me, like, leave or shoot, or you can rewind. It's a different way to play the game. I know it's kind of cheating if you're trying to play a game and do like a challenge run. But I think this is pretty cool, and I think at least Resident Evil 1, 2, and 3, the OG games on PlayStation 5, have this option to do that, which I think is cool. All right, anyway. All right, thanks so much again, guys, for being here. I'll try to get some more streams in the future, also to get the camera back on, but I'm just kind of streaming on the side here in between other things. So see you guys again very, very soon, and I hope you guys are having a good week and enjoy your weekend. All right, bye.